Hi, this is Jürgen Rasmussen. Welcome to the Provocative Hypnosis vlog. This one is about why you should let your wife or husband be your Zen master. You can, of course, extend this to your kids and whoever else that you're close to as well. So there's this old saying that says if you think you're enlightened, go on family vacation. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. Of course, you don't have to go on family vacation, and you don't have to go anywhere to work on yourself. Most likely, the express train to psychological growth and maturity and enhanced perspective taking lies in using your significant other and your kids and those closest to you as a mirror to let you know where you have unresolved stuff to deal with. They are an excellent mirror. They know exactly how to push your buttons, or more accurately, to reveal your blind spots. We really need other people and relationships to help us reveal our own blind spots, because we have a tendency to take those aspects of our own experience that we're the most willing to look, the least willing to look at, and to project them onto others out there, and then to attempt to save the world or change the significant other so that we can be at peace. So this is a massive opportunity. So if you want a very simple tool / mindset to work on your own psychological growth, maturity, capacity for perspective taking, remember this. Whenever you point a finger outward, like this, you have 3 fingers pointing back. So whatever you demand or want to evoke in someone else, that's probably most of the time a good prescription for you. So I'll give you a fun example of this. I am not the most technically sophisticated person you've ever encountered. I'm probably way down on the list, like a complete Neanderthal when it comes to anything that has to do with technology. And just the other day, I was going to do some stuff on my computer in regards to my taxes, and I wasn't quite able to figure it out. And of course, my wife is a lot smarter and a lot sharper than me when it comes to everything technical. So I had her help me, and she was, not communicating that clearly, and I blew up. I had a little temper tantrum, and I pointed at her and I say, "Don't be so unfocused. Don't be so lazy. Communicate clearly. Don't be so stupid." Like, I really pointed the finger out at her, and at that moment, it really looked as if it was her that triggered me. It looked as if she was making me angry or pissing me off by being the way that she was. Now, this is a trick of the mind that we all have a tendency to fall for. So later, of course, I apologized. I took 100% accountability and responsibility for my childish little temper tantrum, and I owned it as 100% me shadowboxing. Because what's happening there is that I was having demands of myself that I get it, and having anger directed towards me not getting it, and me being lazy, and me thinking in stupid ways, and having frustration about that. And of course, instead of seeing that, I projected all those qualities onto my wife, so it looked as if that was her, and that those qualities in her were making me angry. Now, this is shadowboxing. This is shadowboxing. So if this happens, you can keep pointing the finger at your wife or your kid or your significant other and attempt to get them to change. under the idea that if only they would behave differently, or if only they could understand or see or hear, then you would be okay. But that's going to keep you stuck in your own stuff. That's going to keep you stuck in your own shadow, and you're falling for a very simple trick of the mind, so to speak. Or you can realize, hey, wait a minute, there's the three fingers pointing back. These are all prescriptions to me. Let's look at my own stuff. I'm shadowboxing here. I'm generating this experience. So when I apologized to my wife, and of course she understood it and she's able to have a sense of humor about it, I didn't apologize in the way of, well, you know, you kind of pissed me off, or if only you hadn't said that, or if only you could do this in the future. Don't do that. That's going to keep you stuck. I apologized by acknowledging that, look, I'm sorry. This was 100% me. This was my stuff. This was me shadowboxing. It had nothing to do with you whatsoever. I apologize. So by owning that, I have a chance to go in and look at my own stuff, looking at my own demands of myself regarding technology. You know, the idea that I must get it, or I mustn't be so lazy, and whatever that says about me as a human being. I can look at that and resolve those attachments. And the really fascinating thing is that my wife is going to function as a brilliant Zen master around this, because if we end up in the same context again, how she appears to me is going to be the barometer. If I'm now able to be calm, level-headed, see the sense of humor in the whole thing, that shows me that I've resolved a shadow element. She's the Zen master in that sense, or she's the barometer. So when you look at someone else, you know, they are a projection of our own thought process, you know. So if you see someone who may be, you know, let's say that they seem like a control freak, it's one thing if that informs you. It's something else if it really like grabs you. If it really grabs you, that's your sign probably that you have more of those tendencies going on internally that you would like to admit. Now, again, the three fingers pointing back. There's also another really exciting application of this, and that is that whatever quality that you're looking to evoke in another human being, that's a prescription to you to approach that human being with those qualities. Now, this is not always easy, but if you, for example, scream at your partner or your child or someone else and you say, you have to respect me, or you have to respect my opinions, well, in that moment, you're not respecting the other person's right to determine for themselves who or what they respect or not. You're not showing respect in not acknowledging the other person's rights to decide for themselves who they respect or not. Now, I'm not talking about legal issues here. I'm talking about psychology. I'm talking about thoughts and feelings. If you scream to your child and you say, you have to listen, you know, you may have something worthwhile to say. It's worth staying in the trenches with your kid, doing your best to educate them. But at the point that you're screaming, you must listen, you're not listening. Like, you're not displaying the calm, the receptiveness, the openness that you're looking to evoke in your kid. If you scream to someone else and you say, you better understand, or you have to understand, well, at that moment, the question is, what is it for you to understand? Well, you're probably not understanding how that person constructs his or her experience, because if you did, then saying or behaving the way that person does would make complete sense. Also, you're probably not understanding that the other person just doesn't understand. And the fact that the other person doesn't understand is not an attack on you. It's just a reflection of where that person's thinking or meaning making is in that particular moment. If I scream to you and I say, don't be so selfish, there's an element of me saying, look, don't do what you want to do what I want you to do. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't, call other people on their bullshit, that we shouldn't, attempt to solve stuff in the world. It's not an either or thing. Well, what I'm saying is that you'll work on your own psychological growth and maturity very quickly if you're willing to accept this somewhat painful pain in the ass principle of like finger pointing out, 3 fingers pointing back. This is a great prescription for me. Now, saying that someone else may be selfish may be accurate, may be worth saying. So I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that if you can look at your own stuff and deal with it, then other people around you get to be your Zen masters. You don't have to go to a cave to do quite dramatic work on your own psychological growth, so to speak. Now, here's another funny thing. The more you can release the insistence that other people understand or hear or appreciate you or respect you or be in a particular way, the more you're simultaneously freeing up and releasing your old conceptions of yourself and who you are. So let your wife, husband, and partners be a Zen master. It will accelerate your psychological growth, maturity, and capacity for perspective taking in quite dramatic way if you let it. Somewhat painful, sucks sometimes, but I promise you it's worth it. Till next time.